happening, or I'm really anxious because this thing is happening. Also, these are all of the people I live with. These are the pretty complex relationships I have with all of them. This is what's happening in their lives. Like, that's so much. Hey guys, it's Agnes. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. I'm a psychiatric nurse and therapist, and to nobody's surprise, I'm a huge advocate for therapy. So this video isn't about why you should get therapy. I haven't made that video yet. I will, although there's so many points, I'd probably break it down anyway. This video is about why you should hold on to a therapist if you have one already. So I think a very commonly made mistake that I hear a lot of people say is that if they're having a difficult time, they should talk to someone. And actually, in my opinion, you should already be talking to someone. So that when you have a difficult time, you are talking to someone who knows you, and you are talking to someone that you already have a relationship with. So I'm going to be giving kind of personal examples from my relationship with my therapist, as well as professional examples, me being on the professional end and like the relationship I have with some of my clients and have had with some of my patients when I worked for the NHS. So my therapist has been in my life for, I think about 3.5 years, maybe coming up for 4 years. And having an ongoing relationship with her has been absolutely invaluable. Invaluable? Why do people say that if like valuable is valuable? Does invaluable mean not valuable? Because I kind of thought it meant more valuable. The relationship I have with my therapist has been very valuable. That's just where I'll land with that, okay? I'll figure this out afterwards. She has seen me through, oh man, a lot of bad stuff. So I first reached out to her, she's a counselor. I first reached out to her when I was going through quite a difficult phase. I was going through an episode of low mood. And I'm sorry, I just got an intrusive thought that my microphone might not be on. It is, yay. Low mood and anxiety, which I have all the time, which is why I have the need to check my microphone 10 times, even though I know that it's on. That you just saw an intrusive thought happening live. She has seen me through so much stuff. The first time I got in contact with her, like, it was definitely quite intimidating. I think there can be a real fear that you are wasting somebody's time when you first get in contact with them, that your problems might not be severe enough for you to warrant getting therapy. And I'm here to tell you that all of those ideas, like, that's just poor self-esteem putting those ideas in your head. Like, that's not accurate. Having therapy, regardless of what is happening in your life, is incredibly beneficial. Even if everything in your life is going quite well and smoothly and you are happy, still talking about your relationships, talking about how you see the world, how you move through the world, the things that are important to you, the things that you're prioritizing, the things that you feel you don't have time for. Like, all of that is so helpful, even if you're in a wonderful place. And building up that kind of knowledge base with your therapist when things are good. Guys, I'm sorry, I'm so distracted by the sun. Just please hold. Okay, I don't mind the sun being here. Obviously, like, I don't hate the sun. I just needed it not on me. It's so distracting, and I'm like looking at myself rather than looking at you. You, dear watcher. Even when things are going well in your life, giving a therapist the opportunity to build up a really good base of knowledge about you is incredibly helpful. So if you guys don't know about this about me, my setup just now is pretty strange. I'm living between Denmark and Scotland, and when I'm in Scotland, I live in a kind of purpose-built intergenerational communal living situation with some of my family members and their partners. So I describe it fondly as the commune. I also live with my niece and 2 dogs. And when something happens in the commune, it would be so tricky for me to contact a new therapist and be like, oh, so my mood is low because this thing is happening, or I'm really anxious because this thing is happening. Also, these are all of the people I live with. These are the pretty complex relationships I have with all of them. This is what's happening in their lives. Like, that's so much information that I would have to impart at once. Whereas my gorgeous, wonderful counselor, she already knows it all. I was talking to her before we even moved in, so she knew it all. And her having that level of knowledge of me is incredible, because instead of having to fill her in on, for example, the feelings I have towards a certain person that I live with, I can just launch into, this is what they did to me. I'm joking, that's real victim speech. I mean, no, I do that with her sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, this was really hard, feel sorry for me, nope, please. And she will, and it's incredibly helpful. So somebody having that knowledge of like your work situation, how your brain works, your relationships, your friendships, your current stressors, all of that is so helpful, so that when shit really does hit the fan,
the shit's gonna hit the fan.
They're not starting from knowing nothing about you. In fact, they're starting with almost all of the important information they could possibly have about you. Probably in a lot of ways, really understanding you better than you understand yourself, because they're looking at you from afar. And so that is super, super helpful. And I think on the professional end of things, the way it's benefited me, having kind of years of information about somebody, is that there's one person I can think of in particular, obviously I'm not going to give any details, that I've had a very long relationship with. And being able to support them through the tricky times, it's so much easier for me than it would be for another professional looking at it with fresh eyes. Because if somebody's in a situation, for example, where they tend to doubt themselves quite a lot, and perhaps they're quite critical and they think that they're maybe not going to be able to cope with something, I can have the knowledge to be like, so I think that you will be able to. Also, just to give some more context, I do a lot more, I provide more active talking therapy than counseling. So I am like quite a bit more involved. But I would be able to say to that person like, well, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to cope, because you coped with this, you coped with this, you went through this, you went through this, and you came out of them with so much strength and grace. And since then, your life has been better because you're strong enough to go through that kind of hardship. So being able to have that knowledge of someone, it can be so beneficial to kind of bolster them.
I'm doing a lot of talking with my hands.
I feel so passionately about therapy. And yeah, my therapist, my goodness, like she's seen me through, she has seen me through, trigger warning, I'm not going to go into any detail whatsoever, but I just don't want to say this like completely out of the blue. But she helped me through an experience where I was SA'd. And if I had had to have that conversation and tell a new person, this is what happened to me, like, I don't think I would have been able to do that. It would have been incredibly difficult, incredibly painful, and so frightening. But I could just sit down with her and be like, Lindsay, this thing happened, and she supported me through it absolutely beautifully. And she knew so much about my situation at the time. She knew everything I'd been through. Oh my goodness, she's seen me learn so much about what I want my relationship structures to look like, how I view the world, my own, I'm gonna have to fudge this word, smectuality, questions I had around that. She's seen me through a lot. And I feel very strongly that if you have developed a therapeutic relationship with someone and it is really benefiting you, don't let them go. Don't let them go.
I'll never let go. I promise.
Even if you feel you don't want to talk to them very often, having an appointment with them once a month can be so helpful, so that when you really need to lean on them, they're there and they know you and they have all that prior information. Obviously, I am talking about people who exist in a pretty privileged part of society where either they have control over therapy they are receiving for free, which doesn't happen very often. You know, often if you're receiving therapy for free, any kind of talking therapy, then they'll be like, well, you seem okay now, so we should probably wrap this up, which is really unfortunate. So I guess I am kind of talking about a group of people who are able to pay for therapy. But when you're talking about having a session once a month, I know so many people who could afford that. They might just not be prioritizing it. And I'm here to tell you that it should be a priority and that it's very, very, very helpful. So guys, that is it for this video. If you made it to this part in the video, please let me know what you think about that. Please let me know if you have had a therapeutic relationship that did have to end for some reason, and if you wish that it had continued, or if this has encouraged you to reach out to a therapist and really like stick at it with them. And if that all feels way too personal to share on the internet, which I would completely understand, then comment train, because I just saw one go past and I would love to know that you're still here. That would be really cute. Comment train, maybe a little train emoji. I would j'adore that. Okay, guys, I think this is probably one of my first-ish videos on my new channel. If you guys have seen my posts and stuff about it, essentially what happened was I was operating on a channel called Wellbeing with Agnes, and it was a user error. It was nothing to do, it wasn't YouTube's fault. It was a user error. I did something, a mistake repeatedly. I won't go into detail, it's very boring. So now I have created a new Wellbeing with Agnes, which you are watching right now, which is reserved strictly for my mental health videos. They'll be short, snappy, and my previous channel I have renamed as Adventures with Agnes. I'll put there's a little thing up here, huh? Smart. And that is for longer, chattier, vlog style videos. My hands are going. So yeah, please give this video a like. I would really appreciate it. And subscribe if you aren't already. Go subscribe to Adventures with Agnes if you aren't already. Okay, take good care, guys. See you in my next video. Bye.